Hello and welcome back to part 2 of Learn Fusion. In this second video, we're going to be learning sketching curves, construction lines, and sweeping along a path. And if you haven't heard of these before, then don't worry, I'm going to be explaining and demonstrating these throughout this video. And in this video, we're going to be creating a simple coat hanger model. So here, I'm going to show you another way that you can save your files. So come up here and click on Save. And now you can see your folders. So to create a new folder called Coat Hanger, click on this drop down. And you can see that I've already created mine here. But to do this, what you want to do is click on New Project and type in Coat Hanger. This will also create it in the data panel that I showed you in the last video. And we can call this Coat Hanger. And then we click on Save. Next, what we want to do is we want to create a new component. So we come up here and we click on New Component. And we also want to call this Coat Hanger as well. Then we click on OK. And then once we've done that, what we want to do is start sketching. So we come up here and we click on Create Sketch. And we click on the ZX plane here. First of all, we want to click on the Line tool. And then we want to click on the center point. And we draw this up vertical at 90 degrees. And a quick important note with the Line tool here, it's kind of working like a bungee cord. So I click once on a point to anchor it to that point, and then, if you can see here, it's moving around and following my mouse. So we want to position this up at 90 degrees. Then, on the side here, you can see that our dimension is already selected, and it's currently at 63mm. But we want this to be 60mm. So without having to click on a dimension, because it's already selected, we type on the keyboard 60, and this enters 60mm. And you can see, because this is a dimensional line, it's also been constrained to this point, and this has turned the line black. And ideally, we want to have black lines in our sketches, because this means that they're fully defined. Although sometimes this is not possible, but for most sketches we would like to do this. And this helps to avoid any errors if you ever go back and make any modifications to your 3D model. So let me just show you a quick example, and you don't have to copy this. If I draw a random line in the middle of space here, you can see that that line has now turned blue. And this is because it can move around wherever it wants to. It's not in a fixed position. So that's the meaning between the black and the blue lines. So I'm going to delete this now by pressing on it and then pressing the delete on my keyboard. So the next thing that I want to show you is a concept that's used quite a lot in 3D modeling, so I want to get you familiar with it. So I'm going to click the line here, then I click on this point here. And then I draw again, coming out at a right angle from this line. And I'm going to type 50 on my keyboard and then hit enter. And then you can position these dimensional lines around where you like them. It's best to keep them neat and tidy and out of the way of your sketch. Now, if I click on this line, you can see that there's different line types. So the first one here is a construction line. And if I click on that, you can see that it changes to these dots. That means it won't be used as part of this drawing. And it's actually a line that helps you to draw other lines. And the second one is center lines. So if I click on that, you can see there's a slightly different pattern for this. And this is to draw any lines through the center of your drawing. But in this case, we don't need to use either of these at the moment, so we just click off the center line and leave it as a normal line. Next, we draw a line down and we want to keep it at a right angle, and we make this one 140. And then we press enter. Then we can zoom out using the mouse scroll wheel. And we can also pan using the middle button on the mouse. Alternatively, if you don't have a mouse that can do that, you can use these buttons down here to pan, orbit, and also zoom in and zoom out. Next, we want to draw a line coming off this way, so we click on this sketch. And this one wants to be 90 degrees again. And it's going to be 50mm, so we type that in and hit enter. So this is more of a unique coat hanger that we're drawing here, and it's actually one that goes over the top of a door. So it would be hooked on the top of a door, and then it would hold your coat. Next, we click the line tool again, and we want to draw up 90 degrees, and this time 20mm. Then we hit enter. And let's just reposition this dimension, so we've got this all clean and tidy now. Now the next thing that we want to do is we want to do a sketch fillet. So we click on the fillet, and then we go around the model, and we want this to be 10mm. So if you don't have this set to 10mm, you can type it in here, and we want to go around on each corner. And you can see here that when I did this, a warning sign actually came up. And this is because we either lost some of our dimensions or our constraints that were used on this sketch. Ideally, it's better to use modelling fillets compared to sketch fillets where you can. However, sometimes it's unavoidable. So for this model, it's okay. And once that's done, I'm going to hit enter. And then I'm going to click on Finish Sketch. Then I'm going to click the home button so you can see our drawing in 3D space. And if I come over here and drop this down and then drop this down to see our sketches, you can see here that it's with a padlock symbol. This means our sketch has been fully defined and it's called Sketch 1. So now we want to do a new sketch on the XY plane. So we click on the XY plane here, and we want to click on Create. And then we go to Rectangle and we click on Center Rectangle. Then we want to click on the center point. Now this one's going to be 60mm. So I type that in on the keyboard. Then I hit Tab to move over to the other dimension. And this one's going to be 5mm. Then I hit enter and I click Finish Sketch. So it's really important to rename your sketches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on this, and you can see sometimes when you double click on it, by accident it puts you back into the sketch. But for this, we don't want this. So we can click on Finish Sketch. And if we click once, and then we click again slowly afterwards, you can see it's highlighted our text in order for us to change the name. And we want to call this one Path. Hit enter or click outside the text box in order to confirm your writing. And then we want to call Sketch 2 Profile. Now we go up here, we click on Create, and we click on the Sweep tool. From here, you can see we've got our profile. So we click on our profile, which is the rectangle. Then we click on our path, which is the shape that we want it to follow. Now you can see that it's drawn our coat hanger in 3D. And we want to click OK on this. We can also come over here into bodies, and you can now see that we have our body as one. And we can rename this as hanger. Then what we want to do is we want to add some fillets to the edges. So if we click on the fillet, and then we click on this face, then we rotate our model around, and we also click on this face. And these are going to be 0.5 millimeters. Then we click on OK. And then we come up here and we click on Save. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you found it useful, then please do hit that like button and also subscribe. See you in the next one. Cheers.